The internet's finally collapsing. It was bound to happen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, whenever I talk, it just gets worse. You're gonna by the end of this video, you're gonna be
I get worse.
yeah, you're gonna be 4 pixels by the time this is over. Hi everybody, and welcome to the Disney Top 3, the series that we haven't done in like 4 months.
Yeah.
Sorry, we totally kind of forgot about it for a little while. Every time you speak, the resolution gets a little. You're like regressing through the timeline of YouTube, and this is gonna be like the 140p era. I'm gonna see like the CG Dancy Baby from Ally McBeal in the background there. That's how far back you're going on the internet. It's gonna be a little 4:3 square quick time. Anyway, this is the series in which we pick a topic about Disney and we talk about our top 3 for that topic. And based on suggestions by you guys, the subscribers, this week's topic is special effects, which is a pretty nebulous topic. Which is great, because then we got a pretty good list to go with. And for this episode, we've actually sort of widened the scope a bit. For some weird reason, when I started thinking of my list, I immediately went to Disneyland. And I think you thought of a few things too, right?
Well, yeah, but I think also you thought of rides, and then I was like, wait, I thought of something.
Yeah, you were thinking in-park stuff.
Yeah,
so it's pretty loose definition of special effects. I would like to define it as like something where it's something that's not a naturally occurring illusion, both of audio or sight, that, I don't know, does something, I guess, different or, notable. Doesn't necessarily have to be cutting edge, but, something that adds to the quality of the ride or the part of the park or whatever it is.
So, my number 3 is in Disneyland, and it is the cars in... How do you say the ride? I want to say it the way Rob says the ride.
Rady Racers?
Rady Racers. Yeah.
Rady Racers.
Radiator Springs Racers.
Racers.
And I'm talking about like the way that they animate the eyes and the mouth and how realistic that looks.
Right.
So that kind of blew me away on the ride. Aside from everything else about the ride being awesome, that was like the thing that I noticed the most, that like I was kind of just attracted to the most, was like how they look so much like the movie, but like actually right in front of me, and it was kind of creepy and it was kind of awesome, and
it was almost like how stretchy or soft like the features look, you know what I mean? Like when their mouths moved, it didn't look like it looked like the way in an animated film somehow they're metal cars, but like their mouths are moving very, I don't know, organically, and they managed to capture that by making whatever it is they're made out of look like a metal car but still move sort of almost like a cartoon. It blew me away. I mean, and you see that to an extent on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I think, with the dwarves in the little cave part. Yeah, and not just the projection, but just, I guess, the fluidity of how they move these days. It's just like a whole new level to like animatronics of the past. My number 3 is actually a very minor and probably lame special effect, which is perfect for me. It is also in Disneyland. It might be in Disney World too now, actually, these days. But I noticed it first in Disneyland, and so I just sort of associate it within Disneyland more often. And it is during the Paint the Night Parade, and it is among all of the sections of it. I was sort of really taken aback at how, obviously it's a nighttime parade. It takes place at night, yet everybody was so well lit. And then I realized they all have these little lights, these tiny little, they almost look like book lights that hang over their face. And when you're looking at them directly, you can't see them. Like, you could barely see them. Yet the light on it is powerful enough to illuminate their face and light them really well, so that if you get behind them, then you can sort of see like this bright lamp just sort of shining in their face, which I can't even imagine what it's like to perform with that thing like right in your eyeballs.
Probably really hot.
It's just like this very minor thing that like, they could have just put spotlights on the street or something and it would have been easier. But like, it's just, it adds to this illusion, because like now you have these characters on the street in a very dark area that are really well lit. And it's not like super groundbreaking technology, but it's a very clever implementation of some very simple technology. So that's why it sort of made my list.
Yeah, I don't think that they brought that to Disney World yet.
I wasn't 100% sure if I remembered seeing it in Disney World, but
I especially like it for, I mean, it's great for all the performers and stuff, but it's really cool on the face characters because I feel like that just adds, I don't know, it's just something a little bit nicer. Like the kids get to see them clearer. If you take video, it's all clearer.
Yeah.
It's just like visually just a nice thing.
Nice.
That's almost like, why didn't they think of that before, you know?
Yeah, exactly, right? Well, probably because it would have been a giant, like, car battery strapped to the back of their heads, and it would have been like a bare light bulb.
They all look like Ghostbusters.
That's what the technology was back then. That's just how it was. Okay, your number 2 is...
Is the Hitchhiking Ghosts in the Haunted Mansion.
Yes. And
that's an old one, older than the Cars one.
Old and new one.
And, well, yeah, but still older than the... Is it older than the Cars one? No, maybe not at this point.
Well,
they might have updated it after the Cars one. But, yeah, I mean, from the original ride, it was, you know, you get
Pepper's
to the end,
ghost.
He goes, oh, beware of hitchhiking ghosts. And you go in front of the mirror, and you see this projection of a ghost sitting in between you. And sometimes it was, like, super awkward because if you were sitting close together, they would just, like, awkwardly sit there. And then they upgraded this, I guess, I don't know how many years ago at this point. And now, I think you have one of like 3 different kinds of ghosts, and they're animated, and the projection looks so much crisper and cleaner, and like one sits on the top and like can like, you know, switch your faces, and like all
it interacts with you.
That they're doing with like, I assume just like cameras behind the mirror to like get the faces and all that.
Face detection.
Yeah, but like, it's such a simple thing, but I look forward to it every time I ride the ride. I mean, I look forward to a lot of things every time I ride the ride, but it's just such a great ending of it, and I always look forward to like, which one am I gonna get, and it always kind of makes me like giggle before I like do the ride. I don't know, it's one of those special effects that I think they've only made better, and just kind of like sticks with me, like it's a big part of the ride for me.
I like that it keeps the spirit of the original effect, yet just adds like new flair to it. It doesn't, you know, totally refurbish that area into something new. It's just the same Hitchhiking Ghost, same principle, just with newer technology to make it a little more fun.
Yep.
My number 2 is still in Disneyland. It is not in the park, either of the parks.
Oh, I know what it is.
Something that exists to an extent in Disney World as well, but I think the fidelity is a lot higher in Disneyland, and that is the storms in Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar, which is the bar in the Disneyland Hotel by the pool. And the way it works is whenever you order a special drink, you know, when you walk into this bar, it's built like a tiki bar, and there are all these windows, but these windows don't look outside like a normal window does. They look out to these fake facades of a tropical island. So you see like, there's one of a volcano, and there's nice beach. And so it sort of gives you that, you know, tropical vibe as if you're looking out onto an island, but you're not actually. And so once the special drinks are ordered, you know, lightning starts striking and it starts storming through this window, and it looks like there's a storm going on. And I said that exists in Disney World because in the Tiki Room, you know, there's a similar effect where, you know, you're looking out these fake windows onto a tropical island, and then a storm happens.
Well,
I think
there's also Trader Sam's in the Polynesian Resort.
Yes, there's that as well. I've never been there, so I can't speak from experience.
It's tinier and more hidden.
So I guess this could be a Disney World number 2 as well. I think the effect just resonated with me more in Disneyland because it is a much smaller space than the Tiki Room. And so there's just sort of more opportunity to focus on it. Like when it happened when we were there the first time in Disneyland, I was standing like, I don't know, 12 inches away from the window. So like I got to like turn around and just watch it, and it was just really great because I guess people were really just, you know, pre-gaming. It happened like 2 or 3 times while we were in there. So I got to see it over and over as opposed to like the one time when you sit through the Tiki Room. But it's just a fun effect because, I mean, as everybody knows, I love indoors that look like outdoors, which is technically what those windows are. And I like that it goes that extra level of adding the weather element to it. And it just goes that extra step into like sort of immersing you into another place. You're no longer in California, you're somewhere in the South Pacific. And so, it's stuck with me. It's one of my favorite effects. But obviously not my favorite, or it'd be number one.
Yeah.
That's how numbers work.
So
I'm losing count. One. Listen, it's allergy season.
I know.
I'm on Allegra right now.
Muddles your brain.
Yeah.
One
similar to the number of pixels on your screen right now. Continue.
My number one is something that I haven't really interacted with much in my last couple of trips, but have prior, and I think is just so cool. And it's Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom. And that's the card game that you play when you're in the Magic Kingdom. You can pick up a free pack of cards.
Yep.
Like when you walk in this is by the firehouse, right?
Yes.
And these cards are of different heroes. And there are different, you get a map and there's different areas in the park. And depending on what your quest is, it will send you to some maybe one time you play and send you to others another time you play. And when you hold your cards up to, I guess it's like an RFID thing.
I don't know how it works. I think it is RFID, but no. I think it's QR maybe.
Oh, is it? That would make more sense.
Yeah.
Especially because the cards are paper. It sets off these like little videos with like sound effects and the story, and you're helping Merlin, and there's like always a villain that you're trying to go after. It'll change depending on like how many quests and things you've finished. And the cool thing about it is that they built this in to buildings that already exist in the Magic Kingdom. It's not like they were like, oh, we need to set up these brand new little like kiosks or something that would like look awkward. It's like built into the window of like one of the stores, or it's like built into I don't know, just like these little back areas that are buildings that already exist. So it makes it more exciting. It's like you found something secret. But the fact that they were able to do this with a park that is so old and able to just like make these changes and have these little portals everywhere is really cool. And it's a lot of fun, and it's a bit time consuming. So I feel like that's why I haven't done it much in my last few trips. Because, you have to decide if you want to take the time to play that game. But it's really cool. I just like watching other people interact with it. Like every time I see somebody else setting it off, I like to stop for a second and watch them because it's super fun. And then you fight with your heroes. Your heroes have different abilities, and it like shows up on the screen. It's really cool.
Okay, my number one effect is another minor effect, but it's over in Disney World this time. I guess it's in Disneyland too, but the Disney World version is the one that stuck out in my head, and it is in Hollywood Studios at the Tower of Terror. And it is there are a lot of effects in that ride, and I almost wanted to really like stretch the definition of effect and say that I thought the transition from the lobby to the basement was a great special effect, because you're, it makes you feel like you're going down even though you're not actually, but that gets an accused, whatever. This is the effect right before you're dropping, when you've gone through, the Twilight Zone dimension with all the floaty things, and there's nothing in front of you, and it closes into this like bright line.
Yes.
Like the door line, like the elevator door lines close into this single line,
like
and then
light up for a second.
And it's a very simple effect, but it's done in such a great way, because I think the light's just so clean's the word that comes to mind. The way that separation from the dark and the light, in that it doesn't, I don't think I'm looking at like a light bulb effect. It feels like an actual, almost CGI effect in front of my eyes. And then it leaves you in that pure darkness, and then the drop happens. So it's just a great effect in terms of timing. But as a fan of the Twilight Zone, just that sort of, I don't know, weird, bizarre, otherworldly lighting effects, really cool. And it's like almost one of my favorite parts of the ride, of actually riding it, aside from the drop. And it's just, I don't know, it's a great touch, especially on a ride like that, where I'm reminded, like, it's an elevator drop ride. Like, they're in every theme park ever, yet it has all these amazing effects that make it such a better, attraction.
Well, it also helps that it's built a bit differently, and it's a smoother ride overall. Like, there's a lot of things that one up it on other parks. But
just that light, though, it's really cool. I want to get that installed on all of my doors in my apartment, so that when I'm going to like go to the bathroom, it just goes.
I feel like that it would be stressful because then I would always
think you're gonna
the
drop.
ride. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right, well, there you have it. Our top 3 special effects in any of the Disneys or anything Disney. But what I'm interested in more so is what are your top 3 special effects? Let us know in the comments below. Or if you have an idea for a top 3, let us know in the comments as well. Or you can let us know on Twitter. I'm at RobPlays.
I'm at Ivy Winter YT.
And you could also check out Christine's channel where you're still... I am not doing this for comedic purposes. The other day, I went on to look at my subscriptions, and I was like, you're still doing Disney vlogs?
Wait, there's
How far was that trip?
There's only 2 more left.
Oh, man.
There's like 3 parts a day. Look, I did a lot.
Well, if you want to see like 70 parts of Disney, you could go to her channel. She's got them. And then the PAX blog, I'm going to assume, is like...
soon.
It's going to be like a 3-minute video.
Probably.
Anyway, thank you for joining me, Christine. Thank you all for watching. Whatever you're doing, make the most of it because it makes it that much better. I'll see you all next time for the next Disney Top 3. Bye.
Bye.
We just have everything. We explore all the emotions that Alice felt in the pool of her own tears, while Alice behind is just constantly crying more water out into the tub. What was your idea?